Previously on the $10,000 Drag Shootout, 4 teams came to California to build a drag car in 10 days. With a combination of $3,000 cash and $7,000 in Summit gift cards, these junkers evolved into full-fledged race cars. Returning champions Team Biggin returned for Season 2 and built a 1982 Granada station wagon with a big block Chevy on nitrous. The Comp Cam's Dream Team struggled to work together all 10 days on their 2002 Ford Mustang powered by a Turbo LS. Midwest Mayhem built a stock bottom-end Turbo LS Cutlass, finishing their car quicker than any other team. And enemies everywhere came all the way from Australia to compete against some of the toughest American drag racers. They built a 4th-generation Camaro with a 6-liter Turbo LS engine. Team Biggin came out on top with almost 1,000 horsepower on the dyno. Midwest Mayhem and Dream Team proved how strong the Turbo LS engine is by turning out high 800 horsepower numbers. And enemies everywhere could not put a number down due to their transmission not going into high gear. On the way to the final race, tragedy struck. 2 of the 4 cars caught on fire during transport. 2 weeks later, Joe Hunt, leader of Midwest Mayhem, died in a drag racing accident. Summit Racing came forward with new budgets to rebuild Team Biggin's Granada station wagon and the Dream Team's LS-powered Mustang. In a rush to get the cars ready for lights out, Biggin and Dream Team fought hard to have their drag cars rise from the ashes. And to see who can win 10 grand, keep their car, and become champions of the $10,000 Drag Shootout. What would you do if I gave you $10,000 to build the quickest drag car possible in only 10 days? 4 teams, 1 race, 1 winner.
We don't do anything good, we just kind of do everything half-assed. This is the first thing he's done all week.
I want a beer.
I told you I was right. I don't think I hit the right button.
The experience of last year has helped me look at things from a little bit different perspective.
There is so much shit happening right now.
I did it, the car was sliding, so then I backed off.
That's pretty stout.
It made 11 horsepower.
We're not here for a long time. We're only here for a good time.
In this sport, if you ain't first, you're last.
I don't want to wreck out here. I got more to live in my life now than I ever do.
Everybody's counting on us. It just puts more pressure on us to win.
I really want this. I want to be in the final. I don't care who I'm next to.
Everybody has their legacy. If we do bad here, it's on me.
After the rebuilds, the $10,000 cars were shipped out to Summit Racing in Georgia, just a few hours from the track.
We've been busy just preparing mentally and physically for the race, you know. It takes a lot, and a lot of people, a lot of moving parts.
We've been pretty busy, but we built a whole new combination exactly like we built for the show, and we've been testing it. We've been getting really good results out of it. We lost a couple of members in the team because of things going on back home. We've got Nigel Alexander out of Brutal Speed and Tuning. Nigel's doing the tuning now, and my son Campbell, he's joined the team. He's a CNC machinist that works for us. Some have just been unbelievable all through this whole competition. They've been supplying the parts. The shipping has been incredible. Like, we're ordering like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, and we've got the parts the next day in California.
I'll be honest with you, I get to see friends. You know, Lyle, the Australians, I mean, they're family to me.
Champ is here.
I didn't really know how myself or anyone else was going to react when we saw the Midwest guys. Losing Joe, I can only imagine how it made, you know, Joey lost his best friend, how it made him feel.
That was a big deal for us. I pretty much shut my shop down.
The emotional part was putting the sticker on the back for Joe. That was really tough.
This isn't about the money or the car. I mean, we're doing this for Joe.
So the builds are done. All of that competition's over, but now the real competition is about to start. How are you feeling? What's your plan going forward today?
And it's time to get busy.
The bullshit's over. There's a reason I have these. Lights out, Valdosta, that's my house. And yeah, we're fixing to them up.
Did that, it's all good. If you want to help us fix it, fix it. I'm not fixing it. Let someone else work on the trades.
Had to take the shifter out of the equation to see if it was up. I did. That's exactly right. So don't be a sucker. I'm trying to help you, Dave.
No, we don't need your help. But if you want to help, help.
10-4, bitch.
We used a different shifter mount. It was just like 95, 96, 97, 98% engaged, but not fully engaged, so it was making the grinding don't do that noise. Lyle had the perfect idea, you know, eliminate the shifter, eliminate the cable, manually put it in park and run it, and it worked. My gut feeling is it's not going on the diamond. When we get to Georgia, there's still a lot of work.
This is a big stage, man. There's going to be thousands of people in the stand. There's going to be tens of thousands watching online.
We drive in, there's just cars everywhere. It's just jaw-dropping stuff.
Oh, it doesn't get any bigger than this. If you win here, you're the guy.
We are running 8th mile here. It was obvious that they needed to make a change. I like the move to 8th mile. Much, if anything, just from a safety standpoint, I think it was a good move. If we're talking about radio prep tracks and ranking them on a list, this one's in the top 5, possibly in the top 3.
I've always wanted to race here. It's a dream come true.
This is a huge stage, and it really, as far as radio racing is concerned and grassroots racing, it doesn't get any bigger than this.
The race is simple. Each team gets a number of qualifying passes to get data and placed on the ladder for run order. The teams will then go into one round of elimination. 4 cars go in, 2 cars come out. The final race will be between the 2 fastest cars. First to the stripe wins $10,000 and gets to keep their car. In their pits, the teams are discovering gremlins in these race cars they only built in 10 days.
Biggin's working on their car, getting, the last few bugs worked out of it. Midwest, these guys are just hanging out because their car's ready. I mean, they were getting everything kind of, dialed in yesterday.
Those kids are great kids, and they know their stuff super secretive. But that's the way they play their game.
Maybe Team Biggin will be ready to race here real soon when we go up there to get called, but a couple of the other guys are still working away, and one of the teams isn't here yet. I'm not sure which team that is. I don't know what their name is.
But the Dream Team, I'm in their pit spot where their car should be. That's their trailer. I don't know what they're doing, because we could be running in the next 45 minutes to an hour, and I don't think their car is ready.
We turn up and we're working on the car, and we had a fair few things we had to finish. We don't know if it's fire damage or water damage, but it just got a gremlin in it.
Looks like the fire on the back end didn't just melt body panels, but it actually got some of the wiring really hot, created a short to ground, and it melted some of the wires all the way up.
It looks like the harness got damaged in the fire.
So they're trying to get that fixed for round 1 of qualifying, because it's coming up really quick, and I'm just hoping, fingers crossed, to get it figured out and get the car running smooth enough to make it.
Each team gets an additional $1,000 repair budget, but it did not take long for a few of the teams to max it out.
Before we go down and pass, we've got to be 100% ready, and we weren't 100%.
Because of the wiring issues, the Australians pulled out the entire engine harness and started from scratch.
We refused to be here on time. But what happened was I really enjoy cooking. So we got biscuits, sausage, and gravy, fried eggs, and bacon. But it took me forever to cook it, so yeah, it's my fault.
We're trying to make it a race car. So far, it's been kind of a pile.
Cluster.
We got a leaky intercooler here, our spray bar. We got to get Keith motivated to drive it somehow.
All right, so now we got to talk about safety and a couple of the reasons why we went with optic armor, new rear and front windows in a couple of the cars. Number 1, glass, when it shatters, it can go a lot of different directions. This stuff doesn't shatter, and it's actually 50% stronger than OEM glass. And number 2, it's way lighter than factory glass. So you're getting something that's safer and lighter, and you still don't have the wind hitting you in the face going down the track. Only 1 team is actually ready to run. 3 teams might not get any qualifying runs today, and who knows about the rest of the week. There is a 100% chance of rain by 2 p.m. and it's almost 11.
In typical New Car Blue fashion, it started with what we believe was an electronics failure that was in the box.
It don't even sound like time, but it sounds like it's just...
That's what I'm saying.
It's like in rev limiting it. 10 to 10.
That's exactly what I said last night. Remember, I said, is the rev limiter set correctly? Because we wanted to check. Because I said if it was set at 5 RPM or 10 RPM or 100 and you push the button, it's going to kill the motor. And that's what it's acting like it's doing. But the knobs are in the right position.
We tried different ways to wire it, different ways to trigger it, and it just would not allow us to go to the 2-step. Why, we don't know.
Chasing electrical gremlins is not something you want before your first hit on the track.
It is kind of weird how every other team has had much more time to their cars and we haven't, and we were the only team to be race ready.
We were ready to race as soon as we left California.
I've loved racing anything and everything, and I feel like it comes natural. I got a speeding ticket racing somebody from stoplight to stoplight, and I guess it just spirals out of control from there. Once you start winning and get your name out there, people recognize you, and I try to stay humble for sure, but there are times where somebody like myself can go out there and compete and win time after time after time. The Junkyard Dog definitely, you know, has a place in our hearts for sure. Joe built it with us, and those memories, you know, has a place in our hearts. No one was as close as Joe and I used to talk to Joe every day. I called him on my way home from work. It was like a routine thing, like breathing. I had a lot of friends pushing me to get back to racing. Got to move on somehow, and here we are.
VP is kicking in all the fuel for all the teams. Biggin is running C16, Midwest Mayhem is running C16, and then the other two teams are running X85. So no matter what, we have all the teams covered for the fuel they need. The X85 is nice because it's not just normal E85 you get from the pump. And C16, obviously, we all know is a great fuel. It's very, stable under high heat pressure, situations, and both fuels are going to give the teams exactly what they need to go fast.
It's time for the first round of qualifying, and Midwest Mayhem is the only team in the lanes. Team Biggin is thrashing to get the Granada's issues fixed for the first hit, but the other two teams are out for the first round. With limited runs and a short amount of time, every pass is critical, and missing this first round could be a huge blow.
So out of the blue, Biggin showed up into the staging lanes ready to run the car. It's going to be interesting to see because with the pitting in the cylinder wall, it's something to be worried about with oil contamination, but it's here, it's ready to roll, and we're gonna have to see what they do because at this point, this is Q1. We have a storm rolling in, and we're just hoping that we get a run, but it could start raining at any moment.
There's a lot that goes through your mind. Is it gonna dart to the left or the right? Is it gonna go straight? Is it gonna break? Anything can happen.
The Junkyard Dog sounded good in the burnout box, but now it's up to Joey to make sure the car makes it down A to B.
When I launched off the line, the front end came up pretty high and I felt like it was gonna wheelie. It lifted the tire, yeah, but it wasn't out of control where I needed to pedal it, even though I did. It's just riding in a different car. It's not the same as mine. One pass in, you just get more comfortable with it.
It made it. It made it down A to B. That's what we need, these first passes. Good job. Now next is Biggin's Granada.
When I'm in the staging lanes, and especially at South Georgia, for me it's just another day in the office. We pull up to the line, we're one of two cars that decided to make the first lick. I go to turn the fuel pump on and it sounds like blocks of bolts have been dumped inside that fuel pump. God, it was awful.
This isn't good. Biggin is in the car. Oh. Yeah, they're backing it out. They're backing it out.
I bet Lyle was hot as a firecracker. If I was sitting in Lyle's seat, I'd be embarrassed.
Have to get it back to the pits and see what's going on. That might be their only shot and they just missed it. That does not look good.
Midwest Mayhem is the only team qualified on the ladder. The Storm heading straight for the track. The other three teams need to get their cars figured out if they want this to be a competition. Team Biggin's fighting against the clock to fix their wagon before the next qualifying pass.
We were just looking at the radar about 30 minutes ago, and step by step it was saying it was gonna rain for like 3 hours solid, and the brunt of it just hit us, but it's not going away anytime soon, and racing is done. They're running out of time. I don't know how many more passes we're gonna get.
I fell in love with going fast and anything with a motor on it, whether it have 2 wheels or 4. I grew up, in the country, and, we rode 4-wheelers and dirt bikes and, tractors and whatever else. My dad, growing up, was a drag racer. He is the reason that I'm able to do what I'm able to do. My first radial car was an X275 car, big block nitrous. We weren't very good. We burned a lot of stuff up, hurt a lot of parts, but we had fun, and we learned a lot. This place is a bittersweet place for me to come to. I nearly lost my life here 4.5 years ago. I made a choice, and it was my choice to get back in a car after my crash here, and it was arguably the best thing for me. As far as putting it behind me and coming full circle and getting over, the PTSD and all the bullshit that came along with that crash, getting back in a race car was the best thing for me. Be here and to be able to drive on a stage like this is something that most will never get to do.
The sky cleared, and the track is finally dry enough for cars to start running again. With the sun setting, all 4 teams need to kick it into high gear if they want to make the next run count.
It's been 9 months. I noticed the TPS was calibrated backwards, and stuff like that can all cause it to not start up. And then I noticed sitting here that the map sensor was reading incorrectly as well. So we need to make sure we get the map sensor reading right, otherwise it won't command proper fuel, proper timing.
And so do you guys think you have it figured out?
Here in a few minutes, but I think we should have it figured out.
Okay, sweet. Moment of truth. Enemies everywhere is making progress. The car is now running. It wouldn't start before, but the problem is they're running out of time.
Fluid injection, they've been sitting for 9 months, so we checked them on Colson before, but
when ethanol sits. We have officially been here 13.5 hours. That is a problem for a lot of different reasons, but the big reason is because none of these cars have made a flipping run except for Midwest Mayhem. Track's been kind of crap because of the rain. not enough temperature, not enough rubber, nothing sticking down. So it's been an ongoing process throughout the whole day. I think we're getting ready to run. They called Radio versus the World for the first time today, and we're right after them. So I'm really hoping we get a run tonight.
I'm not like the rest of the guys. The Australians, the Midwest guys, they grew up in a car culture. You know, their dads or their uncles or their grandpas, they were drag racers. So I wasn't that guy. My brother was big in drag racing, setting world records and championships, but I stayed away from it. I just wasn't involved in it at all at that time. And then I just got my Corvette and went one time to the drag strip and then did a horrible job. But once I went to the drag strip, I was hooked. I enjoy going fast. And we had the 3 world championships, you know, back to backs and just wins. We were always semis or better 95% of the time. We just didn't lose rounds, man. We just went rounds. You know, that's what I know in racing. Even though my kids and wife and everything, they're like excited, I'm worried that they'll be worried. Honestly, I'm a little scared to race. If I mess up, it's on me.
This might be our only qualifying run, and that's a big deal. So let's get up to the starting line.
It's do or die time for each team. And if they don't make a pass now, they may not have the data they need to tune a competitive car.
If it's shooting ducks or sending pieces of piston to the gods, I probably would abort. But at that point, it doesn't matter anyway.
It's a little spicy on the tune-up, as we call it, where I'm kind of worried it will spin, but if it doesn't, I mean, it'll be pretty cool, I guess.
Time is running out. Looked like Midwest struck it right at the hit. They got a little aggressive, and here come enemies everywhere.
It's time to see if enemies everywhere fixed their wiring issue.
That's a good first pass. Wow. So they just went 5:59 at 1:24 at their very first pass ever in the car. And it sounded great. And now here comes, looks like the Dream Team is up next.
Yeah, we may be a little bit inconsistent, but we'll be fast. Pile up. It's pretty embarrassing. First time back, this bullshit, so I'll have a conversation with the crew when we get back to the trailer. That's all I gotta say. Just the track up for the rest of the night.
We got a big pile of shit we're driving down the track.
I'm the guy that when everybody somebody track up, I'm like,
well, you shouldn't have signed up for this race because that
you fucking called me.
You shouldn't have signed up.
I didn't sign up for shit.
Because that shit was bound to happen out there. We
you called me.
A little anxious because, you know, Biggin, they came up, they were ready to roll, and then fuel pump starter all at once. They've had nothing but starter issues, so I don't know. I'm a little nervous for them. I can't imagine how Lyle and the team's feeling in that car because there's a lot on the line for this.
So we get up there for round 2 and the car won't start. And it won't start. We're scrambling. We've got a generator sitting there with a charger on it and all these things, and we just cannot get it to work. Gotta hurry, gotta hurry, gotta hurry. And then gets word that Keith has just watered down the entire racetrack in the Dream Team's Mustang. And they tell us, you have no time, the track is now clear, and it's time to go. I mean, literally 15 seconds after they had just said that it was okay, we had a few minutes. And we fire it up, and we drive up to the water box, and Lyle's in the water, and I am traipsing up to the starting line, and we're about to give them the sign, and they tell us, no, they're not ready. They're out on the racetrack using torches to dry up water on the starting line. I'm pissed because this guy has told us to go, and now we are sitting there and the car's getting hot. It's up to 160 something degrees already. I hope it takes you on, goddamn. I know. Hey. Finally, we have to shut the car off.
Somebody get, what in the are they doing? Where's Monty Graham? Where's he at? Where's that dumb at? Monty! Why? 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 Monty, why rush me to get the car running if you're gonna come up here and let me idle for 5 damn minutes? Hey, they got torches out. They ain't ready?
But we were assured it was. We've got to cool the car down now. It's 160 degrees. Or you know what? I'll give you this one. We'll run it down there and blow the whole goddamn cooling system out of this motherfucker on the whole racetrack. Nobody else can run.
The South Georgia track officials made the call that because Lyle crossed the ready line and could not restart the wagon, this run no longer counts for qualifying.
So it starts this whole deal, and they say, oh, your qualifying run doesn't count. You're done. We're like, we're not done. No way we're done.
I had not crossed the ready line.
Right.
When I crossed the ready line, I was ready. Who wasn't ready? The racetrack. That's not my fault.
It's the last day of racing, and luck sided with the racers. Each team gets one last qualifying pass before elimination.
We are in the staging lanes for the third and last qualifier.
With one last qualifying pass, this can make or break a team's chance at winning. Run order is imperative, and becoming #1 qualifier is on everyone's mind.
At the moment, we've got no gauges in the car, no shift lights, so I'm just doing it all on feel, just old school.
Qualifying is somewhat important by the last qualifying run because ideally you want to be #1.
Ooh, I just saw Midwest Mayhem, their serpentine belt came off, so that means their water pump was not working. That could be a problem. See what happens with Team Biggin and their Granada coming up right now. Sounded really clean. I didn't hear any popping, no shooting ducks. I think they're gonna be in good shape.
let go of the button, that thing left like a rocket. Not long into the run, the motor starts breaking up some, which we kind of figured would happen.
And it gives a puff of smoke, and we're like, oh no, we just killed it.
I mean, it leaves the starting line really well. After that, it does not go very well. We'll get some data to look at.
And now the last car to run is going to be the Dream Team, and this is going to be the last car to dictate what the qualifying order is.
The ladder has been set. Going into eliminations, it's Midwest Mayhem versus Biggin, and the Australians versus the Dream Team.
There's water going everywhere. So I'm thinking it's a freeze plug, is my thoughts. I'm like, you know, maybe it was the old freeze plug that we didn't replace or whatever. So I got the hood up before the crew gets there, and I find like there's a big chunk, like the size of your thumb, of the head at the corner missing. So I'm like, we're done. Talking with Dave and Jesse and Jim, we're gonna run it without water. Is it gonna kick a rod out? You know, is there gonna be oil off a track? Going up E1 regardless, there's a better chance of me not having catastrophic failure and get killed. Apparently that's a issue, and that's an issue with me as well. I'm like, hey man, you know, we're all friends. TV show, it's so who gives a We thought we were good. Apparently what we thought was good was not good enough.
Jamie Farmer from Toowoomba in Australia. I'm a boilermaker by trade. Racing's just something, it's in your DNA and you can't change it. I've been racing for 35 years and I don't think I'll ever give up racing. Winning for us, I mean, we've come here thinking we can win. We know we can win. You know, enemies everywhere. It's just starting to get traction here in America. We've got some great products. It's really starting to get speed. If we were to win it, the publicity I know is going to be quite big. Enemies everywhere. Jamie Farmer will be more well known after this. There's no doubt about that. To be in the winner's circle, checking the hand and the photo, the crew behind me, it'll be a dream come true. But we've got to stay focused. Number one priority here is to have the car ready and go out and win races. I'd rather be in our position than the other three teams. That being said, I've been in their position before too. I know what it feels like.
This is something, and it's a really big moment right now. We're going up to the first round of eliminations. 4 cars are going to go up, and 2 cars are going to come back.
Unless the hood scoop is going into orbit, I will not be getting out of the throttle until we get to the finish line in E1.
This is going to be the end for 2 teams. The pressure is through the roof. I have no idea which team is going to come out on top because anything could happen.
Number 1 qualifier will always race the slowest qualifier, so you have the best shot at beating the other guy.
You know, once the door closes and the straps are tight, I just go into a different world.
The tune-up motor changes we made hopefully will combine to give us a combination that can go to the finish line and win.
I have no idea who's going to win. That was a big upset. with Team Biggin versus Joey Heichel and Midwest Mayhem.
It was ugly, but Lyle did his job, treed the heck out of them. They had problems. They were throwing it all in. They told us they were going to, but man, it did not run the way we wanted it to run. So if we're going to keep up with the Aussies, dude, we're going to have to get this clean. We're going to have to make it clean. We got one shot.
The potential things that can happen, and you go through everything and go through all the motions. You get up there and you lose that 1% that it takes to make it the rest of the way, and you fall short.
With one team eliminated, it's time for the final pair to go down the track.
You gotta realize that Mustang is running on 7 cylinders. It's got a completely dead hole. Part of the cylinder head is outside of the motor. So this should be a gimme for enemies everywhere, but you can't rule anybody out.
Whoever wins the race will be in the running to become champions.
I knew I had to keep their car's broken, so I knew I had it in the bag, but you know, I had to make sure I had cut a good light. Didn't have to worry about, you know, going too greedy, but just get an A to B pass.
The sun is setting fast, and the 2 remaining teams are scrambling to get their cars dialed in. The track conditions are the fastest all weekend, and the teams are going to put everything on the line.
Time for the final round. Everything comes down to this. It's enemies everywhere. Right here, Jamie Farmer in the 4th generation Camaro versus Lyle Barnett in the 1982 Granada Moonshine Missile. It's time to get to the lanes and see who's going to come out on top.
You don't even hope you win, you know you're going to win. You just got to really believe it.
There's always the home run that can be hit that you weren't expecting, but consistency will win this one.
We're at a negative 104 feet, so that's 104 feet below sea level. 47 water grains, which is very dry. Anybody that comes to the racetrack go, I'm not for sure it's fast out there. They never seen conditions like that.
To be honest, I haven't even thought about losing. As a racer, you just don't put that in your head.
We were the first to ever win this competition, ever, and nobody will ever do that.
Definitely going to be a high pressure situation for sure. To a 572. The turbo car treed the nitrous car.
We came over here, we played this game against the best in America and we beat them. We beat them in their own backyard.
That was so incredible. After everything the show has been through, the fires and all of the drama, you couldn't have asked for a better ending. I'm sorry I'm getting emotional because the ending was so perfect. And everything that all of the teams went through, that last run, it made it all worth it.
My team done their job. from start to finish. They did everything they were, asked to do, and it was just up to the last race for me to do what I had to do.
Jamie, enemies everywhere. You guys are the first international team to compete in the $10,000 drag shootout, coming all the way from Australia. That is a huge feat. You were the underdogs. You built a badass race car. You won, and it's my opportunity to present you with this trophy and $10,000.
Oh, it's a dream come true. I mean, to win this on the biggest radial meeting in the world is just unbelievable.
We've lost a friend, a dear friend, family member, the fires. This has been a really rough season. We appreciate all of you teams sticking with us, and because of that, we are letting you all keep your cars, take them back with you.
It's definitely not going to go back home and sit in the back of the barn and collect dust. We're going to run that thing, hard.
It goes back to Comp Cams, and it goes to my race, Woostop.
Joe's spirit is in the junkyard dog. He built the motor, and that's the heart of it.
Proud of you,
Good job,
Dave.
guys.
Anything else you have to add?
Oh well, do you want to know about our strategy, how we did cheat? And,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I was gonna say, you guys did say you cheated.
Yeah. We came over here, I guess if you want to call it cheating, that's what we did. We had a lot of fabricated stuff we already made. We brought materials and so forth, and as Australians are, we come from convicts, so we get to sneak things around a little bit, and we had a brand new converter. I got some awesome photos of a brand new converter. We, when we were in California, we had it on the front lawn of the Airbnb house we rented, and we had this converter on fire to burn the paint and make it look secondhand.
Next time on the $10,000 drag shootout, no prep.